Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's best of three. We have Pokemon X versus Pokemon Y. But of course, instead of Pokemon, we have Peak Performance Y versus the Striking Vipers. Both teams are pretty similar. Their bracket has been tough for both sides. And all the players have very similar playstyles, which we'll get into a little later. But it will be a very exciting series. And yeah, so both teams are currently 0-2. They really would really need a win in the third round to really kind of prove themselves in this tournament. It's been tough matchups all across the board for both sides so far.
Yep. And we'd really like to see Vipers getting a win here, as that could propel a potential comeback in this tournament.
Yeah, that would be huge for the Vipers, and it would also be clutch for Peak Performance Y if they won. So first round, Striking Vipers were against Evil Genius Prodigies, which was a very tough matchup. That was an 0-2 loss. And then on the side of Peak Performance Y, they were against Wildcard Gaming, which was also an 0-2 loss. And so both teams start off the tournament a little rocky. And then for round two, once again, both teams lost on the side of Peak Performance. They lost to Blacklist, and Striking Vipers lost to Mirage Elite. And for both of the teams, uh, it was just slow starts across the board. So hopefully in this matchup, we'll see a whole lot of conflict just considering the similarities between both sides. The bottom lane specifically is what really caught my eye. War Cyclone and Shinshin on the side of Peak Performance Y are very similar to St. Cool and Russian Ronin for the side of Striking Vipers. Both like to play aggressive bottom lanes with a Bully as the ADC, and then I like a Thresh, Leona, or Alistar trying to make engages. There's no Bard for Shinshin in his match history, so maybe we'll see St. Ghoul on his Bard to try and counter one of Shinshin's picks. And then in the middle lane, Nemesis versus ZMT. Both of them very aggressive. Nemesis has a whole lot of games on Yasuo. ZMT likes to play Kali and Aurelia. So we may see one of the sides pick away a champion from the other mid laner. We maybe one of them will go into their hidden champion pool and try and counter the other. But there should be a whole lot of bloodshed in the middle and bottom lane. And then in the jungle, Respite on the side of Peak Performance Y has been playing a lot of hyper carry junglers. Graves, Kindred looking to scale up and carry the game, which is pretty similar to more and more like in that Lilia and Olaf with those fast clear rates and running around the map. And then the one discrepancy is in the top lane. Bajani, whatever. He's been playing a whole lot of Riven and Fiora recently, so kind of that strong top laner looking to split push, where Diesel on the side of the Striking Vipers does favor those tanky top laners. However, he is known to pull out the Aatrox and carry. So, with that in mind, let's start taking a look at this draft. Right off the bat, you can see the bands coming through, targeting the champions I just mentioned. You can see Peak Performance targeting ZMT with that Aurelia and Akali, and then the Elise going for that Morn. Those AP assassins have been super strong right now. And then Graves and Kindred coming out from the side of Striking Vipers.
Yeah, we see a triple jungle ban against Peak Performance Y. So I'm not sure if their jungler is either their weak point, if they think they have a small champion pool. And maybe that's something they're going to try to push. As we do see Ornn and Kha'Zix, these are very standard champs for the Vipers. Diesel, very good at Ornn, and Morn, good old Morn Spaghetti, known to take over games with his Kha'Zix. So I'll be interested to see, especially a Camille into Ornn. I'm interested to see how that top lane will go. That can go very bad very quickly for an Ornn if a Camille can get rolling.
Yeah, in the last few matchups, round 1 and round 2 of this tournament, Diesel's been kind of left out to dry in the top lane. The enemy jungler will often clear up to the top side and get an early gank off. We'll have to play from behind. And so I'll be curious to see if in this matchup the Striking Vipers adjust, and we'll see if the team tries to support Diesel a little bit more, or if Diesel will just opt to hug the tower in this matchup. And then glancing at the middle lane, we have Nemesis on the Yone, and then ZMT on the Orianna. So switching it up a little bit, not that hyper aggressive mid laner, but more of just a control mage. So he should be able to poke out the Yone with that clockwork lined up as well, which will make it very difficult from the farm early on, but you got to watch out for those level 3 trades.
Right, I'm interested to see 5 bans for the jungler coming from Striking Vipers. Really wanting to keep that guys on off of his champions. Yeah. They really
aggressively cleaned him out.
Interested to see the Thresh does go over to the side of Peak Performance, as I saw both Saintgul and Shinchin big Thresh players. So interesting to see. Although Braum is a good matchup for the Thresh to keep his AD carry safe. Aphelios is an interesting choice. I'm not sure how well he's been doing recently, but for the longest time he's been so weak. And Kai'Sa, that matchup can go either way. Personally, I would prefer the Kai'Sa side, but Aphelios Braum I think does have the advantage overall in bot lane.
Yeah, I would agree, because early on the Kai'Sa and Thresh, once Thresh hits that level 2, very scary. Aphelios is take a little bit of time to spin up, get those chakrams rotating, to be able to dish out that damage. But if they can make it into the late game, the Striking Vipers have a very scary team composition. Ornn with the long range engage. Excuse me. Kha'Zix can jump in, can be comboed with an Orianna Shockwave, and then Braum can obviously peel for the Aphelios. So I'm very excited to see the team fights on the side of Striking Vipers. And then for Peak Performance, they're going to need to look for a lot of picks. They have the Yone and Camille, where if anybody's a little too far up in lane, they can just jump on top of them or even dive really to get a quick pickup. And then Kai'Sa, if somebody is caught out on a ward, she hits that W, she can dash halfway across the map and take him out in an instant.
So yeah, Peak Performance comp very favoring pick, whereas Striking Vipers, if you get to a late game team fight, Orianna, Aphelios ulti, Braum to block the damage,
Painful.
Just very, very painful. So I think it really comes down to if Vipers will make a lot of rotational mistakes or leaving someone unprotected in a side lane. I think that could be a deciding factor in the game. If not, I think if Vipers are able to play smart, keep up good vision, watch out for these picks, I think Vipers are in a very good position with their team.
Yeah, I think if they just play safe early on, it's going to be super difficult for Peak Performance Y to really get a sustainable advantage. Sure, they may get maybe the first 2 dragons or maybe an outer tower here and there, but as you said, once the Striking Vipers spin up and come online with their item spikes and get those levels in on their ultimates, it's going to be extremely difficult for the side of Peak Performance to win those team fights, win those late game objectives like Baron that really drive the game home.
Right. I wonder if Zach on the Orianna will opt into taking points or what he will choose for a summoner.
Yeah, I feel like with this, I would guess Phase Rush, just so we can try and position a little better in those fights and dodge the Yone. Especially if he can get out of the way, dodge that initial burst, and really make sure he gets a solid shockwave. Nothing Peak Performance Y can do, which hopefully we will see in game in a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We will be right back. We are live on Summer with I Am Worth It. With me on color is Punk. And starting out, we already see a little bit of potential cheese. It looks like Esports are gonna 5-stack up towards the top lane, already trying to bully Diesel. He does spot them out, luckily. No harm, no foul.
Yeah, we saw those pings coming out. They were ready for it. I'm surprised to see Viper's not opting to walk up and get any wards on the bot side of the jungle. I guess they figure he's gonna sweep them anyways. But that is what they choose to do, as it looks like neither side will get any vision to start off at that invade.
Yeah, minor mistake. Would have been a very easy walk in, walk out bottom side after seeing the entire enemy team looking for Diesel right away. And I think for the bottom side, I feel like just looking at St. Ghoul, the Ignite on the Braum, to me just seems like a bold choice. I would prefer it Exhaust, I think, just to keep that fight alive, considering how divey the enemy team is. But maybe they can pull out an early kill if they overextend. And so in the bottom lane with that, we're obviously going to see a whole lot of skirmishing and fights. Same in the middle lane, and then up in the top lane, we'll see how long Diesel can last as a player.
Right, yeah, the exhaust would be useful, especially considering it is a pick comp. We do see also the Orianna opting for the teleport, not going for a cleanse, so you don't have to worry about both Thresh Rooms and Sejuani ganks early on. Potentially Peak Performance trying to snowball their Yone.
Yeah, the double teleports on both sides will give both teams plenty of mobility, plenty of agency to force a fight on any side of the game. Which, yeah, once again, I guess teleport on Yone, you can look for a teleport on the bottom lane, get a dive off, or just walk it in and then TP back to the middle lane.
Yeah, Viper's showing really strong in the bot lane, getting the level 2 first and getting pretty good poke down. Kai'Sa down to about half health already. We covered the mid lane. Oh, Yone also sitting under his tower, down a level now. Getting bullied pretty hard.
Yeah, for Yone, it's going to be very difficult against that level 3. So you can tether, get some farms, poke, top back. And then the bottom lane, yeah, I am a little surprised that Felios and Braum combo are bullying this Kai'Sa so hard right now. St. Ghoul hitting those Qs, poking her down, and rushing around with that sniper, getting a couple headshots off.
Yeah, it looks like they did also have that juicy leash gap, able to get that level 2 minion push advantage as the wave is crashing now.
See some middle lane ZMT caught out, respite comes back to that tether, so the kill won't come through, and ZMT is a-okay. Now we see Morn rotating up along with Saint. Cheeky recall from the Aphelios to see if First Blood could come out here. But the wave is getting pushed in, so I don't think much will come of it.
Yeah, you have to expect Nemesis to snip this one out. This one is playing very far up.
Aww. Yeah, that tether makes it very difficult to get a successful game. But we'll see it, yeah, dive in the top lane, respite to start off. There are low on minions though. So Diesel should secure the recall and TP back in. Teleport from TP back to the middle lane, trying to press his advantage. He does have a tier and corrupting pot, so he will just continue to beat up his swords. And yeah, look at that clockwork lineup. Those autos do so much.
Fancy footwork.
And Warren stealing those chickens as well.
Yep. Punishing that top lane roam. Sejuani won't be able to answer that, as Morn's camps were not up at the time, so that's a good steal away from Morn on Kha'Zix. It looks like he's wrapping around for bot lane.
Yeah, I don't think the peak performance bot lane has any vision just yet on that hiding his time, finally going to show himself, getting the DMT. And now back to the bottom lane. Just a whole lot of footsie. Nobody really wanted to make a full commit, but once again, the Striking Vipers don't really need to make those aggressive plays. If they can just keep the pace slow, farm it out, and scale up, it should be bad.
Also, Aphelios already was able to back and buy his call very early on, so that will be some good gold in his pocket early if he's able to keep good CS per minute.
Yeah, he already has a solid CS lead on this War Cyclone. And yeah, once again, very similar play styles. So the Rom Aphelios was a little bit of a surprise to me, just because they are weak early on, but they pulled through. They got 4 levels on Rush and Ronin. Now,
Yeah,
fall with
Brahmaphilia,
that lead.
that is also a pretty strong lane. I remember, especially early last season, Brahmaphilius being a very scary comp with the Chakrams proccing the stun so quickly. Looks like we have a little trade in the top lane.
Yeah, Diesel just farming under tower, which I do like. Once, as I mentioned earlier, round 1 and 2.
Looks like Morn's coming.
Now, but yeah, Morn coming in. A ultimate from Diesel, gonna lock down this Camille. The double knockup, Morn's in there. Hashtag ultimate trying to get Diesel, but he won't be able to in first blood. Diesel taking out Conquerdo in the top.
Yeah, very good play by Diesel, baiting the Camille in, making her feel overconfident, and then instantly Morn showing up and punishing the Camille. And he does burn his flash, but that is gold in Diesel's pocket.
Yeah, and that is Diesel's first blood of this tournament. I think in the majority of the games, he was the one who was giving over first blood, as I said, just because no one really on the Striking Vipers is going to assist. Hold on in the middle lane. Nemesis getting locked down by that shockwave. More stopping that ultimate, but Nemesis should be able to walk into the tower. He is able to get out. And he's just getting bullied. He's also down CS, Sam in the bottom lane. And right now, Striking Vipers, despite being geared more towards that late game, are having a strong showing.
Yeah, this is really what you like to see from a late game comp. If you're able to get early leads, it really, speaks to your ability to make it to late game. And if they're able to execute their comp in the late game, which is exactly what it was made for, we'll be in for a very good game.
Yeah, and right now it is an Ocean Dragon. Up, no side is making a move toward it just yet. We have the enemy Sejuani rotating down towards the bottom lane, and with the Striking Vipers pushing up, we could see a gank coming in from Respite. Shinshin clearing out that vision right now as the Sejuani was waiting it out.
Yeah, it looks like both junglers are on their bot side right now, maybe looking for something on that Scuttle Crab. Although it looks like the Kaisa is pretty chumped. She does hit level 6. Dragon Viper should be soon a follow. Yep, there's the 6 coming out on Aphelios. And
Yeah.
this could be very scary for KKY's bot lane right now.
Yeah, Aphelios, 2 longswords up right now. Still about a wave up in CS. And that Kaisa cannot get the fake Warsight poked out by both the Braum and Aphelios. They want to dive. I think a Moonlight Vigil would be almost enough damage. Shinshin's shield could save his life. But here comes Respite. Respite is spotted out on a ward, though, as Morn is slowly taking... Can't tell if that's Scuttle or the Dragon.
Might be a bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both. He is spotted out. Looks like the Scryer's blink.
Doing the
Here comes
Dragon.
Respite in the middle lane. And ZMT locked down and taken out. That is tough, but Morn, on the other hand, is picking up the first dragon of the game, which the Striking Vipers will continue to scale beautifully, and then with the added bonus of those buffs, it will be tough as the game progresses.
Yeah, it's a little sad timing there as the Sejuani does show up mid lane, and the Yon picking up that kill will make it a lot of a harder lane for the Orianna. As we see, bot lane still continuing to bully and trading.
Trying to get that first play. I did like the play from right in that Scryer's making the Striking Vipers think that he might rotate to the Dragon. Oh, Senku going in the bottom lane gets the knock up onto the Kaisa. Kaisa able to get back to the tower. Or excuse me, take the lantern to the tower. Then it's trying to stay alive. Senku gonna go down. That's a Kaisa. It'll be a 1-for-1 from the bottom lane. Or now in a lot of trouble trying to get out the play. Will go wide. Nemesis flashing forward. Gets the QW and will secure the kill. It's now 3-2 peak performance to Striking Vipers.
Yeah, it was a bit of a misplay from the Vipers not being able to lock down and kill that Kaisa immediately, making them take a lot of shots.
Russian Ronin in a 1v2. He is a Aphelios. Can he do it? Getting those chakrams up. He won't be able to. Nemesis now 3-0. This is going to be very scary. As now Yone can ult and tether and take out people while they're under towers once he gets that item. And I think he hits 100% critical strike with the second item now. So that early power spike is going to hurt.
Yeah, Yon definitely in a really good position to be able to take over this mid game. Vipers misplaying that dive a bit, letting Kaisa live with both her sums up. She was able to stay alive for just long enough to make them take extra shots and give Yon enough time to come over. And then him grabbing that third kill on Aphelios. Very rough for the Vipers.
Yeah, it was a well-defended dive by Peak Performance Y. Shinshin standing under the tower. Lantern to Force Cyclone. Throwing me off. I thought I saw it. Uh-oh, Senku Okada hit with the play. The Death Sentence will also connect. Russian Ronin trying to get some damage on CMC down the middle. Caught out, stunned up and locked down. Nemesis with a two-man ultimate. Morn also trying to stay alive underneath that tower. The Hextech ultimatum coming through. Squaredo trying to get enough damage off. Will he be able to? He won't.
Morn spaghetti.
Securing the kill. That is clutch. Way to make the most of a bad situation. But now Shelly spawning in. That's going to be a whole lot of play goal.
Yeah, very much very much gold. There we go. Very much gold going over into the pockets of Yon as we see a TP coming out from the Orianna.
Yeah, Orianna coming in trying to get that flank. Nemesis slowed down. They might be able to get the Respite still hanging out. ZMT getting a whole lot of damage. The Tether's coming through. A nice tether from Nemesis, but it won't be enough. ZMT getting one. And Morn getting the other. Camille is here. Conquerdo gets the cleanup, but Diesel's here as well. It's just a fiesta. Conquerdo locked down and clapped.
Wow, really good.
Now, Striking Vipers kind of A-ramming it, but split off back to their respective lanes.
Yeah, a bit of a very long fight. I was not expecting that, as multiple members had time to die in the fight, TP back, and then die again. Camille and Orianna. And now the score is evened up. Gold only 300 down for the Vipers while they are a dragon up, so they're back on track.
Yeah, 6-6, and yeah, a super extended fight right there. I was going to comment that I was surprised that St. Gould survived that face check and push, but no time to even catch a break. Help what's coming through. And you can see Nemesis, how dangerous he is right now with those early kills. Able to dash in, dash out with that tether. And in the bottom lane, now it looks like the Striking Vipers are going to do the same thing to the Performance bottom lane. They're going to hide in the bush. But it looks like War Cyclone and Shinshin would be smart enough to just recall and reset.
Yeah, that red-white Aphelios, those weapons are very deadly. If he's able to land Braum passive on either member, they're going to very quickly get melted.
Yeah, and then Ornn with his Sunfire Age will be very annoying to play against. Peak Performance Y having an all AD composition aside from Yone's occasional little bit of magic damage from his auto attack. So full tank Ornn is going to be a nightmare trying to get through that on the front line to get to this Aphelios. Uh-oh, ZMT hit with that Death Sentence. Nemesis going in immediately, but he's peeled off, hits that tether back. Respite going down first. And Peak Performance are forced to flee from that fight. Diesel locking out the threat on the middle lane as Striking Vipers pick up their second dragon of the game.
Yeah, Peak Performance, Thresh had a crucial hook on the Orianna, but there was just not enough damage to follow up. Yon using his full combo, but that's about all they had. And with the heal coming down, Orianna was able to stay alive and getting that second dragon. Unfortunately, we won't have a Mountain Soul. That would be very nice to see for Vipers, but they are up 2 dragons, and it looks like it will be a Cloud Soul, which is not the greatest, but potentially an older fight could put them somewhere
Yeah,
to be.
it would be pretty solid for both sides. For peak performance, they'd be able to get their ultimates up faster, obviously, which would enable them to get more picks with that Yone and Camille. Striking Vipers can live for those team fights more and heal when team performance decide to go in. So for either side, I think they'll still be pretty effective. A little skirmish up in the top side. Diesel duking out with Puerto. Morin hopping in. Teleport coming in from Yone. 2v2. It looks like the Striking Vipers will back off here. And this does have Gale Force. I have not seen that yet. I guess he will have a whole lot of mobility with that tether. Can really chase down those targets. Be even more effective when he decides to die.
Yeah, it is a very interesting item choice coming out from the Yon, although he is just so strong right now. I mean, he can build just about any item and dish out pretty good damage. It is the benefit of being ahead. And you have to wonder with this draft who got the better of it, because all these bans into the jungler, and he is really not doing too well on Isidwani.
Yeah, all five.
All 5 bans into the Sejuani, and it looks like it's paying off for the Vipers. Also, the lack of AP damage in the late game is very hard for a pick comp who already struggles in team fights.
Yeah, well, looks like we're seeing tabbies across the board. ZMT out in the bottom lane. Flash from Shinshin. The Death Sentence will go wide, and so will the box. And ZMT staying alive, which peak performance really need those picks to stay relevant in this game. And it's a little unfortunate to see that they're not able to get them right now.
Yeah, they put in a flash, 2 ultimates, a lot of resources just to get his Oriana's ulti out, and yeah, you really have to be planning those kills if you're peak performance right now.
Yeah, they should be able to at least get this bottom lane tower. But yeah, I would like to see a little bit more vision from peak performance right now. It looks like they have the Scuttle Crab in the river and a couple wards in the bottom side jungle for the Striking Vipers, which if they can just get a little bit more vision around the river in that jungle, then Yona and Camille can try and swoop in and maybe take out Morn, but Morn building Gorge Ranker and even more tanky, which I kind of like, once again, considering peak performance's full AD composition.
Yeah, that is very interesting as well. I mean, we'll see how it works out for him this game, as looks like the only real threat right now on the side of peak performance is that Yon, as he's giving the bot lane a pretty difficult time in mid, just constantly jumping in and messing them up and then running away. But we have to see where they try and put their focus towards.
Yeah,
We do have a 3rd dragon coming up.
3rd dragon up in a little bit. And then I just realized Morn also Kazik. These are Kaziks. This is new to me, which they do have the Oriana do that burst damage in the initial stage of the fight, which I don't think peak performance really have the ability to itemize against right now, considering they are slowly falling behind and the Ophelia is bigger and bigger. But Death Sense connects on St. Cool. He is able to jump back to Morn. Respite trying to chase him down, but Russian Ronin's pretty large, has a solid amount of CS, which Kaisa or Cyclone has overtaken him and is pretty relevant in this game. Does have the Kraken Slayer, so should be able to chew through Horn a little bit better. Another Death Sense connects. Shinshin locks down so many members of the Striking Vipers. It's a bold choice trying to dive underneath the tower. And St. Cool takes out Nemesis right away. Diesel with the ultimate knocks up Respite. ZMT secures the kill. Puerto, Shinshin, Warcycle all trying to make it back to their tower. Puerto slowed down. The Death Sense connected. But they won't be able to pull him underneath the tower. Shockwave from ZMT. Shinshin goes golden. Staying alive for now. Ignite taken down, but throws out the lantern, and that'll be enough. And now Striking Vipers should have an uncontested 3rd dragon.
Wow, that is very huge from the Vipers. Peak performance really wanted to engage there. Thresh took that hook all the way into the tower, and Yon tried to dive with him. And they just try to ignore the Aphelios damage, but he was putting out so much, there was nothing they could do. They just got melted and tried to run away, and Was that too fell from them?
Yeah, maybe if Shinshin committed like a split second earlier, because it looked like he started pulling himself towards them, but then uh, he jumped away and pulled himself straight underneath the tower, which made the fight a little bit more awkward. Um, and buying Striking Vipers a little bit more time and damage and teleport to come.
Yeah, it looks like he did hesitate there, which he could have canceled the Kazakh's jump with his fillet, but it looks like he did wait for long enough for Morn to be able to get that jump off, crucially getting himself back in a tower, and forcing them to take some tower shots. So we have a TP coming down from the Ori.
Yeah, I think that is. Oh, I guess okay. Shelly spawning in.
Yeah.
Interesting choice. A little unnecessary, I think. But they are just going to continue to try and press their advantage and pick up the pace of this game. Shelly gets another charge off on this middle lane, and they immediately take out 2 of the middle lane towers. And they could, at this point, I think, try and force a fight around Baron. The gold difference still isn't really that large, but there are some level gaps, 2 levels ahead of Respite. And as you mentioned earlier, those jungle bands really panning out here. Respite taken so very low. Single's ultimate didn't go a little bit wide. Here comes the Horn. That'll take out Respite immediately. And Striking Vipers, I think, can just look for Baron right now.
Yeah, Vipers definitely. Oh, that's a little bit of bullying with that Blesco. Vipers definitely have an opportunity here with the jungler being dead for another 20 seconds. I don't see any way Peak can defend this. Their comp is not great in this position. Their jungler is dead, so they have no smite to counter this. I mean, the only way is if one of the Vipers members runs it down, but it looks like their tank is not.
Diesel. That is not the person you want to pick. And with that, 2 members of Peak Performance Y get deleted. That is so unfortunate.
Yeah, it looks like this is the second time Peak really wants to engage, but they're just going on the wrong people in the wrong places. Trying to engage on an Ornn who just triple man knocks them up.
Yeah.
Wave into an
Thornmail and Sunfire Aegis.
It's
allowing ZMT to get the double man shockwave off and chunking him out. He has that Archangel Staff and upgraded Leandries, which the game's just going to keep getting worse and worse. The gold lead has extended. Dragon is up in 2 minutes, which that'll be Cloud Dragon Soul, enabling Striking Vipers to force even more team fights as they continue to try and look to close out this game.
Yeah, I'm interested in these items also. Kaisa going for BF Sword and a Zeal, I'm not sure, and a Dagger. I'm not sure where that's going. I'm engage.
Oh, Concreto trying to take off ZMT. Look at the damage come. Nemesis is here as well. The ultimate is going to go wide. That Gale Force coming in right there. Camille getting the shutdown on ZMT.
Some Gale Force abuse going on right there.
Those are the picks we need coming out from Peak Performance Y. They need to get those bounties, get some gold back in their pockets, and try and split Striking Vipers up. But the rest of the team is just going to ignore it. They're going to get the first inhibitor tower in the middle lane. We'll see if they decide to continue the push. I think they can. Diesel going and gets the knockup onto Respite. He's taken out, rushing on, picking up the kill. Death Sentence connects onto St. Jewel, but this time he'll choose not to engage. A wise choice as Striking Vipers take the inhibitor and reset.
Yeah, I don't know if Peak Performance are not listening to each other or what, but Camille's still pushing. All they had to do is give that inhib and let Camille try and trade for something, but this Joy just steps up for unknown reasons and trades a 1-for-1 in the end.
Yeah, and right now, look at the vision on the bottom side of the map. Striking Vipers doing a great job drawing a line straight to that dragon pit.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, Peak Performance had some decent vision early on, but it kind of fell off as Striking Vipers just gained more and more map control and are just continuing to dominate.
Yeah, we do have that dragon spawning in 13 seconds. Vipers looking to get some priority in the mid lane. While they do have some great vision, it looks like Peak is very split right now. 2 on bot side, mid, 3, and they're gonna call their bluff and engage right now.
Yeah, Nemesis able to take that lantern to safety. Orange chase him down. Tank Kha'Zix barely even a scratch on him after a couple slices from Nemesis. Zanko up in front, but here comes Nemesis, gets a two-man all trying to take out as many people as possible, but won't be able to. That's a double kill for ZMT. That shockwave doing so much damage. Now they're chasing Shinshin underneath the tower. The Death Sentence connects, but I don't think ZMT will go down. That's a triple kill. And now Striking Vipers can pick up a free Cloud Soul.
Wow, that was really well played by Vipers. They saw that they were split with Kaisa and Sejuani still mid lane, while we had 3 people trying to flank almost. And they immediately just called it and engaged right then and there. Picking up that Cloud Soul, very crucial, as just really good team fighting and positioning by the Vipers.
Yeah, I did like the mindset or the strategy that Performance and I were trying to do. Trying to come in with the flank, maybe pick off a straggler. And they had the Thresh Lantern to try and save Nemesis, but just it wasn't enough. More on his ultimate chasing down, getting the pick, and then it's just a drawn-out fight again. A huge shockwave from ZMT kind of wrapped that one up, and now they're just pushing into this bottom lane. 2 cannon minions. This tower should be down. And it looks like People from Y are going to give this one up. No minions coming in through this middle lane. And it looks like Striking Vipers are going to stick around. There's the Shockwave coming in from TMT. Glacier Bolt coming in, blocking down Diesel, but it won't be enough from Alden. Respite knocked up. No kills coming through just yet. There it is. Morn taken out to Sejuani, the jungler bullied. And then Russian Ronin with the kill on Puerto. And now 2 inhibitors down for People Y. Minions rolling in. Here comes the siege minions as well. Ornhorn blocking down that Kaisa. Morn hopping in. Gets another kill. Nemesis trying to 1v5. We won't have enough damage. And with that, Striking Vipers will wrap up this game 20-7. A 27-minute Dragon Soul as well. So well played by the Striking Vipers.
Yeah, really well played. They were able to execute their comp. They were able to not get picked very much at all that game and really punish that jungler. I mean, the 5 bans looked like it really paid off, as they really knew what they were doing that game.
Yeah, Peak Performance Y had a strong early game comp, but just couldn't really fully execute it to its full potential. They kept trying to make dives and plays and ended up investing more than they really got back. And in the end, the Striking Vipers just continued to accrue advantages and close the game out. And so I'll be curious to see how both teams adapt in game 2. And so with that, we'll take a short intermission and we will wait for draft to come up. And so stay tuned and thanks for watching. Hello again, Worth It here with Punk. Currently, the teams are in pro draft, but in the meantime, we can talk about and debrief last game. Punk, where did it go wrong for peak performance?
To be honest, I think it went wrong in Champ Select for peak performance. Not just with their picks, but with the fact that they did not seem to execute the comp that they had. They kind of try to play scaly and not really look for picks. And then when they did look for picks, it was on the wrong players. I mean, I don't know what their game plan was going in, but hopefully we'll see them shift their game plan a little bit for this game.
Yeah, the executions last game were just not there for peak performance. One that stood out the most to me, I think, the one on the bottom side on ZMT, which I think they blew their summoners and ultimates, and all ZMT had to do was just flash back to tower. So hopefully this game they'll try and switch up the strategy, maybe try and match the Striking Vipers with the kind of team fight oriented composition, or really fully commit to that dive comp. They didn't use it to the full extent and try and get that early game advantage, which they just get.
Yeah, the Vipers really coming up with a big win. They are 0-2 currently in Risen League, but they are going to be coming back. Hopefully, if they are able to pick up this game, that will propel them up to 1-2, give them a fighting shot for this tournament, and hopefully, make them feel stronger as a team. As these are very good teams they're going up against in this tournament.
Yeah, it would be a huge dub, honestly, for either side, as all the teams in this tournament super strong, like you just said, and getting a couple wins in this tournament would be big. It would put either organization on the map. They kind of up and coming teams and kind of building your way up towards the top of that lead. I think would put confidence into either side and get them some recognition.
Yeah, for sure. Even just picking up a few wins would be very great for either side. Hopefully, we'll be getting into this champ select very soon. Looks
Yeah,
like almost all the picks are locked in.
but yeah, to get to get those wins, we can't lose the game.
Right,
So
right.
if it is pro draft, I'm not sure if we'll see the pick orders come in the same way when we eventually do get to the draft. But hopefully both sides can finally pick something that they're truly comfortable on. And Striking Vipers with that team fight comp did a great job finding those fights, kind of peeling for their carries and drawing out the game early on. And then once they had a solid lead, really uh, forcing it to the end game. And right now, we can already see the bans coming through the exact same so far from game one. Oh, there's the ban on Diesel's Ornn. That was super frustrating to play against for the side of peak performance. Hopefully, they don't pick all AD composition, since that was another thing that kind of went against them game one.
Yeah, what do you think peak performance will look to do to change up this draft? Do you think they'll be looking for another pick comp? Do you think they're gonna maybe try and deny some things, or how do you think they're gonna go about this?
I don't think they're going to go full on to the team fight composition just because Striking
Oh,
on
we
their
have it.
side. And it looks like we have a little bit of internet error, but that's all right. So yeah, I think peak performance will try and look to have a more balanced composition. So some options, a pick here and there, or maybe an aggressive lane or two,
Oh,
but
they're all
most
leaving.
likely well rounded.
Oh, they're leaving so they can get back in order properly. Okay, I was confused for a second there.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, fixing the order, I guess.
yeah. I
A
don't know if
little
they.
easier on the eyes.
Yeah, it looks like they locked in Kha'Zix, which was not a champion they picked, but instead of champion they banned. A little bit of a. It's like their
Yeah.
top laner is sleeping.
Hopefully the errors right now are not gameplay out to see. Well, for the second time for game two, we are back in draft. We already saw the Aurelia Graves and ban. And we know the Kha'Zix ban will also come at some point.
Kha'Zix, yeah, that was in the second phase, as we do have another triple jungle ban coming up from the Vipers, keeping the strategy the same as you would expect. The Ornn,
That
a big pick for Diesel. He does
I
often.
feel so bad for Respite. Did he get into a Twitter fight? What happened?
That is a great question, as it looks like they did first pick his jungler in the pro draft in order to make sure he doesn't get another 5 ban on him. He was able to pick up his champion before those second phase of bans.
Yeah, Respite gonna be on that Pantheon, which I haven't seen in a while. He does his Q obviously goes on cooldown when he hits it on a champion. The cooldown gets reduced, so I'm sure his clear speed is relatively decent. What are your thoughts on it, Punk?
Yeah, I just checked on u.gg to see how much it was being played and all that, and it looks like it does have a decent win rate, 51.45%. It is picked 2% of the time, so it does look like it's doing pretty well. I was kind of surprised to see it myself. I know Pantheon very strong support. I've seen it mid lane a few times, but jungle, this is kind of interesting to see how it will work out, especially into Elise, who has a point and click stun if you're jumping at her.
Yeah, and then with that Pantheon, you kind of have to win 25 just because as the game progresses, he falls off pretty hard. Can really only get one good stun off and then be a meat shield, which
Yeah.
if you build kind of tank Pantheon, you're not doing a whole lot. So you kind of have to find a nice mix between kind of full damage with a little, so not fully bruiser, but not fully assassin. So somewhere in
Just the right
between,
mix.
I'll call it assassin. But early on, he can be super aggressive, get those stuns off, and then ult immediately to another lane and just gank from a lot of weird angles with that ultimate. And well, now that we have the team comps for both sides, it does look like P Performance went for a more balanced comp. They have the on Conquerto, so he will look to try and split push in the late game and can kind of match Aatrox early on, which Diesel does have to be careful here. So there's going to be a whole lot of fighting in the top lane. And then what are your thoughts on the bottom lane? Sankul finally did pick up the Thresh, but Shinshin has a whole lot of games on Leona and then Cyclone on the Misfortune. It's kind of pretty aggressive on both sides.
Yeah, Misfortune is a very good pick into Kaisa. She's able to really just run at her early game and put down a lot more damage than the Kaisa is. Kaisa requiring her upgrades to really win trades against the Misfortune. Leona Misfortune also a very deadly combo. So I'll be interested to see how that lane goes, especially with the junglers, both very early game, very aggressive champions. I think if one of them is able to impact that bot lane, it could be very big for the game in terms of who comes out ahead.
Yeah, I think it'll either be level 2 in the bottom lane or the first gank to kind of decide who's going to have the advantage until they both hit level 6. I feel like Sankul on the Thresh, if Leona goes in with that flay and shield, they could then try and look for a re-engage and peel and kind of force off that initial damage and burst from Misfortune's double tap and Leona lockdown, and then look to try and beat up War Cyclone. And then in the middle lane, ZMT on the Echo, he's just going to be swinging at people, batter up.
Yeah, he did pick that into the Syndra, so he did pick that as a counter pick. It is a pick that ZMT is very good at. He does not play it as much as his other picks, but I will be very interested to see if he's able to really take over this mid lane, as he did have a lot of pressure on him the first game, but he did come back. So it looks like we're going to be throwing it to intermission soon.
Yeah, we'll be able to see plenty of those middle lane fights in a little bit. Stay tuned. Well, after going through draft twice, we have finally spawned in onto Summoner's Rift. Welcome to game 2, Strike and Fire versus Y. And it looks like we'll just see a standard fan coming out from both sides. No early game cheese attempted like last game.
Yeah, interesting to see they just opted to not go for that same invade or another invade, especially considering they have a very strong early comp on the side of peak performance Y. So we'll see what vision we'll be able to get. That will be able to be placed level 1, as we already have a ward over the Baron Pit from the side of peak performance Y. Looks like that's the only early vision we're really getting. What do you think that Striking Vipers has to do this early game? Worth it?
I think they just have to try and avoid that Pantheon. As we kind of talked about in draft, it's just so early on. It can lock people down with those empowered abilities. You get a whole lot of damage off or even dive. If he has his empowered shield, that's like a full 1.5 seconds tank tower shots with no damage. And so with that, Striking Vipers just need to avoid it at all costs, I think.
Right.
Then,
very interesting. Both junglers starting top side, and Viper's playing a bit safe in the bot lane despite Leona being a level 1 Leona. We'll see how that plays.
I think both junglers kind of know that they want to try this bottom lane. Once again, as we talked about, I think we'll either be level 2 or the first gank the bottom lane. Horn hopping from a red to blue, and maybe even an early gank. The season hit level bottom lane. In the middle lane, CMC trying to get early damage on Nemesis. And yeah, you can see right away how play out. Echo is going to try and bully Nemesis early on. Get as much damage in as possible. He did go for the teleport, which I think is a little interesting. I feel like Ignite would have been a little stronger, trying to shut him down. But he just tries to match the mobility, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like he's playing a bit more for his team, maybe looking for some TP plays early on. Maybe trying to impact that bot lane. Interesting to note, Respite. Oh, we do have a fight.
Yeah, ZMT getting taken down very low, but Respite way out of position. First blood, now down to the bottom. We're gonna go in and on a single the Ignite. It has Guardian, and the Lantern will give him enough shielding to stay alive. And yeah, a little bit of a misplay from Respite, and well, they stopped the Pantheon early on so far. So hopefully they can just keep doing that.
Yeah, interestingly, I was about to just say this is Respite. I checked his profile before as we were loading in. He has 0 games on Pantheon this season and 0 games last season. So I wonder where this pick is coming from, as it is a very interesting pick.
Deep pocket pick.
Yeah, very
deep in the pocket. Yeah, and speaking of deep in the pocket, Morn almost caught out right there.
Good juke.
Bottom lane did, yeah, rotated up. Good communication coming from Striking Vipers. And yeah, so no match history on the Pantheon. I don't know, maybe pull up the pro guides in Champs.
Yeah, probably not going the greatest for Vipers.
We've seen not again. Sanko getting locked down by that Leon. Picking up the... And I guess this bottom lane is kind of where the game's going to be decided early.
Yeah, Balio is playing very strange. Level 1, typically you want to go pretty aggressive versus Leona Lena. She is basically not a champion level 1 unless you walk melee range into her. And then after that, they sort of overposition or misposition with the Thresh walking into Leona's combo, getting him very low, and then once again, mispositioning into Leona's range, getting taken down. Sort of a bit of a misplay from the Vipers ball lane, playing a lot different from last game where early levels.
Oh my god.
More
well executed by ZMT and more. They could look gonna get the stun off. I can't believe that connected. The damage coming through. He just needs one more auto. He gets it as more damage. Loses the aggro, and a well executed dive gives Striking Vipers 2 more kills.
Yeah, that was like picture perfect turret aggro juggling and picture perfect repel for more, just maximizing or minimizing really the amount of damage that they could have taken from the tower, and just really well dove from both players. Morton looking to go really aggressive versus jungler. He's feeling himself in these games.
Yeah, ZMT didn't even need to use Flash. And with that, Striking Vipers showing their versatility last game. They wanted to play it slow. And now this game, they're coming in swinging. Already up to 3 kills, 4 kills overall at 5 minutes. We're inching towards that kill per minute mark that I just love to see. So hopefully that'll happen as both sides try to start to consider maybe going for this Ocean.
Yeah, Morin with 100% KP already in this game. Having all 3 kills, or having 2 of the 3 kills, with 1 going over to Zach, ZMT in the mid lane. So I'll be interested to see what they're able to do with their leads.
Speaking of the jungler, the Respite coming into the bottom lane, Shinshin taking out Saint Ghoul, but Respite taking a little bit too much tower damage. Ronan getting the kill, Nemesis forced the flashback to that Tribe Rush. Rush and Ronan trying to outplay. It's a 1v3, but he gets the kill on to Nemesis. That'll be a double kill. And a little bit of a misplay. Respite unable to get that shield off in time, taking a whole lot of tower shots. Now Morin's here as well. Shinshin, that's the shutdown. War Cyclone trying to flash back to that tower. ZMT is nearby. He has his ult. Could look to dive. Chooses not to, and finally we did it. We're over the kill per minute mark already at 7 minutes. So it's only up from here.
Yeah, really well played by Russian Ronan to stall him for so long that Morn and Zach were able to get down there. Also, crucially, Syndra taking that tower aggro instead of the Misfortune, who was max health, and Pantheon taking an extra tower shot than he really should have. And we just saw a picture-perfect tower dive coming out from Vipers, and then a not-so-perfect tower dive response from Peak Performance, as Vipers really showing up early, also picking up that dragon.
Yeah, maybe the Pantheon pick was a misclick, but I guess for the side of Peak Performance, their hopes, I think, are going to start to rest on Conquerto in the top lane with that Fiora. For now, there's only a slight CS advantage, but I think as the game progresses, he'll just get more and more dangerous, pushing in these towers, getting those plates. And right now, it's kind of looking like you might have to 1v9, as currently Shinshin on the Leona's the hyper carry.
Yeah, Shinshin picking up all 3 kills, which is really not what you want to do. At least you want 1 or 2 of those on your Misfortune, especially when Vipers are so far ahead in every other role. Also, Kaisa getting the 2 kills is very big for the bot lane, whereas Misfortune not getting them, instead of them going to Leona, those Merc treads. I mean, it must feel good to be Leona, but if I'm Misfortune, I'm sitting there, I'm scratching my head like, oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that is tough. That's not the way I really expect bot lane to go, because I feel like Leona is a strong combination. Leona with the lockdown, Misfortune can cycle through her abilities, get the double tap off, slow him, and then when they're trying to back off, you just pull out the bullet time.
They're looking for Kaisa walking into 3 members here.
Yeah.
It's like he will respect it, though. Really smart from Ronan. If he walked up there, he was 100% dead.
Is there a ward?
No, I think he just knows he supports topside, and he does not want to walk into them.
Yeah.
He's just,
Spidey senses were tingling.
Yeah.
And that'll allow War Cyclone to kind of get back into the game and play catch up to Russian Ronan. Now looking up at the top side. Okay, there was a ward. They are spotted out. So Conquerto will live to see another day.
you have to question this play from the Vipers, though. They just gave Misfortune 4 tower plates. Kaisa's being denied, I don't know, what is that, 3 or 4 waves now?
Yeah.
And in exchange for what? Like, they got a Herald and... Like, yeah, that was very questionable. They kind of just put the enemy bot lane artificially ahead for no reason. I'm not sure why they did
They
that.
just have a vendetta against the wards. GMT now looking to play in the bottom lane. Here comes Respite. Trying to force Striking Vipers to back off. Morn gets the cocoon off on Respite. Enough damage with the Kaisa. Dude, it won't. And both sides will walk away just fine. And the kill minute has left us.
No, a crucial flash forward from Morn trying to lock down that kill, but they don't quite have the damage, as it still is pretty early on. No items completed yet. And we'll see Vipers pushing in ball lane, hopefully getting Ronan some plates, as they really left him alone there to lose out on.
Kind of left him out to dry. but that should allow them to play or get back up play, smashing this fourth play goal in the middle lane. ZMT getting chunked out by Nemesis. Nothing else is going to happen in that bottom lane. One was slinking around, but opting not to go for anything just yet. The gold is still relatively even, despite Striking Vipers being 3 kills up. I think it was just all that plate gold, all that misfortune, keeping them in the game right now.
Yeah. Also, we have what looks like Kaisa still does have a little bit of a gold lead, even though I believe she just got it from this plates. Now that I think about it, she did get those 2 kills early on, but man, that CS that she was just denied. It's really tough. As it looks like the second dragon is coming up in a minute. It will be an Infernal.
Uh-oh. St. Ghoul once again locked down by one, but now actually over from Nemesis. Rushing on, diving in, gets the kill. Nemesis trying to take out St. Ghoul. He is able to get it. ZMT also in the fight. Same with Diesel. So many teleports coming in right here. Rushing around, flashing forward, takes out Nemesis. And War Cyclone just hanging back by the tower, throwing out that bullet time. And we did it. We're back up to a kill per minute, even a little bit over. And now Striking Vipers can get this bottom lane tower, get their second dragon of the game. It will be an Infernal Dragon. And it's looking to be a repeat of game 1 right now.
Yeah, that was really well played from the Vipers, especially that teleport. That was like a good 3 or 4 second difference between the teleports. Deco getting there quite a bit sooner than Syndra, able to deter that misfortune from following up, leaving his Leona out to drive. Russian Ronin crucially able to dodge all the Syndra skill shots, otherwise he would have just gotten press R dead, and able to pick up another 2 kills for the Kaisa. She's in a very good spot now with her Gale Force already completed. Infernal Dragon taken, and we will have a Mountain Soul, which isn't the best, but also not the worst for the Vipers.
Yeah, I think the Mountain Soul, especially right now, would actually be pretty strong. Misfortune has a whole lot of burst with that double tap. Syndra, obviously looking to cycle through those abilities, get that unleashed power, unsuspecting enemy player. And then Pantheon as well, looking to stun somebody up, allowing the rest of the team to follow up and try and burst them down. So with that soul, hopefully they'll get it. Looking to try and repeat once again. It would be quite helpful. But I think for now, Conqueror up on the top side is Peak Performance's biggest hope.
Yeah, he still does maintain a small CS lead over Diesel, but nothing too much to really make a difference. It looks like we will have a tower falling in the bot lane, although it is not the first tower that had already fallen. Looks like Peak Performance's bot lane is staying there. Might be looking for the echoes. It looks like they have a small engage, but it'll be able to right away.
Leona's trying to make those plays, but they've all just been on St. Ghoul, and then when she finally hits the L's, follow up.
Thresh really looked like he was looking for that one, but it looks like he got called off as he just did a 180-degree turn and walked back away. So they do keep this top lane 1v1 going. I'm curious to see how this ends.
Just a slugfest. Conqueror keeps using those parries very aggressively, trying to dash in directly into the dark blade and get a cheeky stun off. And so far, it hasn't really given him that big of an advantage. It hasn't panned out, as you mentioned, only has a slight CS lead, which maybe earlier on, if Conquerdo could have used a teleport to help out the struggling bot lane, or maybe when ZMT was being super aggressive in the middle lane, he could have turned a fight around, got a little bit more. But for now, Striking Vipers are just continuing to slowly build a lead.
Yeah, the question really also will be who will be able to deal with the Fiora split pressure once the later game comes, whether they'll have the Aatrox Train match or the Echo. And if that will become a problem, as he is, like you said, probably their last hope at the moment, with the rest of Peak Performance struggling quite a bit, as it looks like Vipers are really positioning for this Rift Herald, and it looks like there will be no contest.
Yeah, I'll be free. And going back to that Fiora, I think it's gonna be tough for both Diesel and as an early investment into an executioner. So with that Grievous Wounds, it makes Diesel's life a whole lot harder. But right now, Concuerdo in a 1v3, we'll see if he can pull out a W.
Wow.
She won't be able to. And Respite coming in way too late. That'll be another kill for Striking Vipers. 4-11, and the top tower should also go down right here.
Yeah, I don't know what that Pantheon was thinking. He saw his Fiorino 1v3 and he said, "Don't worry, bro, I got your back." But you know, it didn't quite work out.
Right at the end, yeah.
It's sort of one of those
I mean,
moments where in your head you're about to pop off, but then in real life you're like, "Oh no, I made a mistake."
I think under normal circumstances, if that was a second earlier, it would have been fine. But Pantheon being 0-4-2 just really isn't a threat. And so an ultimate is just like dropping an ATM in the middle of the enemy team. You're just giving them free money at this point.
Yeah, I should also point out the gold difference between the Elise and the Pantheon. Elise at 6,500, Pantheon at 4,800, about 1,600 differential between the junglers. Looks like the biggest difference in gold for peak performance is the Leona that's ahead like 700 gold on her support counterpart due to those 3 early kills. But aside from that, everyone else on the Vipers is ahead right now.
Yeah, them being all ahead makes it so difficult for peak performance to really itemize. Both of the AP champions are huge, and both 80 champions, and so they can't really itemize to try and last longer in these fights, which makes it even more difficult to try and find footing in this match with Diesel popping his ult and chasing them down, getting a couple knockups, and Nemesis taken out immediately. The bullet time stopped by Russian Ronin, and it's just a disaster for peak performance. Striking Vipers almost getting an ace. Shinshin leaving his team to die. The hyper carry Leona walking it into base. And with that, Striking Vipers can get their 3rd dragon once again. They will be looking for an early soul.
Wow, that was a crucial team fight win coming from the Vipers. I don't know where the health bars went on the side of peak performance. It was one and done for the Misfortune and Syndra with that Echo, Elise, Kai'Sa all just putting out so much damage. The Aatrox running right at them. I mean, they had no answer for that. They're just so far behind. You have to question why they were even there trying to contest that dragon.
Yeah, I think Diesel's little burst of speed got him off guard. And they got one Darkened Blade off, and the rest of the team just followed up. And from there, it was just about a massacre.
Yeah, I wonder what do you think peak performance's way back into this game is, as it looks like there's stranglehold.
I need to see, I think, a Miracle Steal on Mountain Soul, since that will seal the game. I need maybe a Fiora pop-off and 1v top side. She does have Ravenous Hydra now, which supply a solid amount of healing and a good chunk of damage. So I think, yeah, it'll really just be either a Steel or this Fiora, but the Striking Vipers should know this, and they can just play around. They can choose to ignore the Fiora and let her keep split pushing the top lane while pressing the other side of the map, or they can just send the whole team, kill her, and run.
Yeah, for sure. Vipers looks like they have this game pretty much in their hands right now, as their only real answer is the Fiora split push, and it looks like the Echo will be the one to match it. I'm curious how what is Leona doing there? Wow.
Uh-oh, Saint Ghoul hit once again by Shinshin. He can't break, but it doesn't matter because he's too tanky at this back. Safe and sound. And I feel like the engages from Leona have just all been on Saint Ghoul. Every single one.
Yeah, it looks like they have something for Saint Ghoul. I guess he's the,
grudge match.
Respite of Striking Vipers.
Yeah.
Also, to note that Flay was very well timed as he canceled the Pantheon stun, which allowed him to walk away. So well played by him. Although you have to wonder if they even had enough damage with the Pantheon, only having 5,700 gold himself, only 200 gold ahead of his Leona. So that's a little worrisome coming up from your jungler to be that far behind.
Yeah, with Nemesis not really being able to get an advantage early on, Striking Vipers pretty much all have Ninja Tabby, making peak performance a whole lot less worthwhile. And now Fiora in the bottom lane trying to chase down Echo. We'll see how this 1v1 goes. Clarido fighting ZMT. And this is kind of what they really need to do on the side of peak performance. Fiora needs to split, try and pull Striking Vipers apart, and maybe they can find a 4v3 situation and catch them off guard somewhere else on the map. Or Fiora can quick hide in a bush, teleport in, get a flank off. There is kind of a deep ward that just went away. Now that I was about to mention it, I guess there is one kind of by the blue buff for the side of peak performance that could prove useful, but beyond that, their options are just continuing to grow smaller and smaller. Baron is up. Wouldn't be surprised if Striking Vipers go for it.
Yeah, it looks like Vipers are looking to take the Dragon first, which does come up in a minute and 20 seconds as they have Echo top lane, who does have the TP. Interested to see if he goes for some sort of flank ward himself, as Peak Performance just really looking for a pick here. Sitting 3 members in a bush for the last like minute or so, and they will get spotted out by that lantern. That's a bit of a wasted investment.
Yes, they're all just in that bush, but all they have is that one ward right there by the blue buff, and that's it. That's what they're putting all their hopes on, and just foiled by a single lantern.
Kai'Sa has the Gale Force, the Collector, and a Zeal already. Miss Fortune does have her finish, Manamune and Eclipse, so she is relatively strong compared to the rest of her team. Pantheon only having the Gore Drinker, though. That's a bit concerning compared to Morin's Night Harvester, Zanya's Sword Shoes. And he does have... We have 2 Dark Seals on the side of the Vipers. Wonder if we're going to see a Medjais from ZMT this game. That'd be interesting.
I mean, yeah, at this point, he for sure could. 3-0-5. He can practically one-shot people with that Lich Bane. Lich Bane is so strong right now. And he's got the Proto Belt. Can fly at the enemy team. Pop in this Fortune before she can get any damage off. As you said, Pantheon, not really that big of a threat. As Diesel looking to get the fight started. ZMT on the play. 4 time coming out. Not going to do a whole lot more. Going quite low. Diesel almost getting taken out, barely has enough healing. Leona does not have damage despite being the hyper rushing bone and taken out by Fiora. It's a split fight right here. DMT returns the kill onto War Cycle, and Diesel smacks down Shinshin. And now it's up to Conqueror to turn this game around. Gets 1, looking for 2. Now it's down to a 1v2. Fighting ZMT and Diesel. Conqueror trying to run away. ZMT trying to chase. Nemesis is here as well. They might be able to turn around, but won't. Sliced down by Diesel, and that'll be the ace for the Striking Vipers.
Wow, all I have to say about that team fight is it was an absolute clown fiesta. I mean, everyone was just scattered. It looked like 5 separate...
I had my party hat on. That was...
Yeah, I was going to say if we could play the clown fiesta music, but I don't know, it might be a bit of a DMCA strike there.
Yeah, probably. Which, if the fight goes like that, I feel like Striking Vipers are making a mistake. Those are really the only situations where Peak Performance have an advantage with that Fiora.
Right, the Fiora crucially was able to stick on that Kai'Sa. She tried to ulti away, but Fiora said, no, not today, and just chased her down that entire fight, and Ronan was looking for his teammates to run to, but he had nowhere to kite. Everyone was just so scattered, and Fiora just picked off the low-held targets one by one after that until she was finally taken down. Also, very questionable plays in general from Peak Performance with that Pantheon ulti from 2 feet away into the Dragon Pit when Dragon was already below 500. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, looking for a different angle, but at this point in the game, even if Pantheon did have items, all he's really good for is ult, a stun, and a shield, and then that is it.
Yeah.
So... I mean, at this point, I don't really think it matters, which unfortunately won't have that ult up for this bit.
Looks like it's coming up very soon.
Oh, dang, cool. Look at that play. Rushing immediately coming in the back line. Huge bullet time. Barely staying alive. Shinshin now on the way out gets knocked up by the Dark Blade. ZMT on the back line. Misfortune. And with that, Striking Vipers almost get another ace. Fiora the hero of peak performance, trying to get a split push and trying to get an inhibitor, but won't be able to. A teleport from Diesel will stop that, while 4 members of Striking Vipers push it down the middle lane.
Yeah, crucially, Fiora not having TP and showing bot lane, Vipers immediately punish that by not only starting the Baron to bait them in, but instantly turning, knowing that they can take that fight. They know they could probably win 5v5, but a 4v5, that's just like handing the game to them, as they'll take the inhib and go straight to Baron. Although now Diesel showing bot lane no TP as he used it to stop Fiora's push, and Fiora walking up behind. Looks like they'll just opt into resets instead.
Yeah, if Fiora can get a couple more bounties, she actually could 1v9, I think. But at this point, it's a little unlikely. Right now, striking vision around that Baron. Peak Performance were able to stop it momentarily. So if there could be a miracle seal, I think, if they can get another huge Leona ultimate combo into a bullet time, that almost took out Russian Ronin right away. And then ZMT came with the flank, took out War Cyclone, but for now, Striking Vipers are just going to start it up.
If you're once again bot side of the map, she's not gonna make it anytime soon. She might as well just go bot lane at this point. I mean, I don't think they want this fight, dude.
Uh-oh, there's another bullet time Leona combo. Right there. Russian Ronin will go down. Diesel going so low, but get it off on the Fiora. That's the kill. And this might even be the game. Here comes the ace for the Striking Vipers. They've got siege minions rolling in. The GGs are coming out. And Striking Vipers take game 2. 29-9 at 27 minutes. They've got the Dragon Soul. They got the Baron. And they're walking away with the series, which is huge.
Huge team fight win there. It looked like peak performance once again, running around the map like chickens with their heads cut off, just not wanting to fight the Baron. Then they do after it's already gone, and then weird fight, and Zach just ZMT on the Echo just murdering the Syndra, murdering the rest of the team in that last fight. It was a very good fight to watch and a very good series to watch as Striking Vipers picking up their first win.
Yeah, and game 1, Striking Vipers played it slow, and then once they had the advantage, forced the win. Game 2, they came hot right out of the gate, continued to get kills left and right. Peak Performance could not find a foothold. And they win the series 2-0, giving them their first win in this tournament, putting them on the map, on the board. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Worth It. With me is Punk. The man in our ear is Ebrom. Thank you guys for watching, and we will be back later next week.